It was the year 2117 when the sky changed forever. People all over the world looked up as strange lights appeared above the clouds. At first, many thought it was a new weather satellite or maybe a military test. But then the ships came down. They were huge, bigger than any plane or building humans had ever made. Dark and sharp like broken glass floating in space, they moved without sound. They didn't attack. They just hovered, watching. Earth had never seen aliens before. Not really. There had been talks with other beings from faraway stars. Yes. Peaceful, messages sent through light and radio. But now, something real had arrived. Governments scrambled to react. The United Nations called an emergency meeting. Scientists watched with wide eyes. Soldiers got ready for a fight that might never come. Then the voice came. "We are the Draconians," it said, speaking in perfect English. "We have come to return what was lost." Nobody knew what that meant. In New York City, Elena Morales sat at her desk inside the UN headquarters. She was a liaison officer, someone who helped different groups talk to each other. Now she was being asked to help humanity talk to aliens. She read the reports. The Draconians had landed in 3 places: Nevada, Siberia, and Australia. They hadn't hurt anyone. They hadn't spoken much either. Just stood there, waiting. Waiting. For what? She asked out loud. Her boss, Mr. Davis, looked up from his tablet. "We don't know yet, but we need someone to go meet them." Elena took a deep breath. She wasn't a soldier. She wasn't even a scientist. But she could talk. She could listen. And right now, that was more important than anything else. Few days later, she stood under a cold desert sky in Nevada. The air smelled dry and dusty. Ahead of her, the Draconian ship sat like a mountain of black stone. From it stepped a figure, tall, scaled, and glowing with soft red light. The being walked slowly toward her. Its eyes were like fire, but its voice was calm. "You are the one who speaks," it said. "Yes," said Elena, trying not to shake. "I'm here to talk." "Then let us begin." And so, the first meeting between humans and the Draconians began. No war, no fear, just 2 sides trying to understand each other. But nobody knew yet. This was only the start. The days passed, and the Draconians stayed. They didn't talk much at first. They just watched. Their ship sat on the ground like dark mountains, silent and unmoving. But soon they began to move around, not like invaders, more like visitors trying to find something. Elena Morales met with them every day. She talked with the leader, Commander Lyra Voss. She was tall, covered in smooth black scales that shimmered under the sun. Her voice was calm, but her eyes always looked worried. "You keep saying you came to return what was lost," Elena said, one morning. "What does that mean?" Lyra did not answer right away. She looked at the sky for a long time before speaking. "There is something beneath your world," she finally said. "Something old, something hidden." Elena didn't understand. No one did. Meanwhile, in Nevada, a man named Jason Bell was working near the Draconian base. He was an engineer fixing solar panels and power lines for the military crew stationed nearby. One night, while checking a broken sensor, he noticed strange readings in the ground, like pulses of energy deep below the surface. He told his boss. No one listened, so he kept checking. He mapped the signals. They were coming from all 3 landing sites, Nevada, Siberia, and Australia. They pulsed like a heartbeat. When he showed the data to Elena, she got nervous. "This isn't normal," she said. Lyra saw the data too. Her face changed. For the first time, she looked afraid. "It's waking up," she whispered. Soon after, the Draconians started moving again. Not away, but toward something. They packed up parts of their base and began digging. Not with machines. With their hands, like they knew exactly what they were looking for. Governments grew uneasy. Some leaders wanted to stop them, others wanted to help. But no one knew what was happening. Then, one night, the signal changed. It became stronger, louder. almost like it was calling. And then, in the middle of the desert, the ground opened, not with an explosion, not with noise, just silence. A dark hole appeared in the earth, deep, endless, and the Draconians walked inside. No one stopped them. No one could. Elena Morales stood at the edge of the hole in the ground. The wind blew dust around her boots. Below, the Draconians had vanished into darkness. Jason Bell stood beside her, holding a small scanner. His hands were shaking. "This isn't just a cave," he said. "It's something else." Elena looked at him. "What do you mean?" Jason pointed at his screen. "The energy readings are off the charts. This place, it's not natural. They didn't wait for permission." With a few others from their team, they climbed down. The walls of the tunnel were smooth like glass, not rock, not metal. Something in between. Lights flickered far below, as if waking up after a long sleep. After what felt like hours, they reached the bottom. It was a huge room. Bigger than any building they had ever seen. Strange symbols glowed on the walls. Machines floated in mid-air, humming softly. "This place is old," Elena whispered. "Really old." Jason walked forward, eyes wide. "This tech, it's not Draconian. It's older than them." Then Lyra Voss stepped out of the shadows. "You should not be here," she said. Elena raised her hands. "We wanted to understand. You came here looking for something. What is this place?" Lyra looked at the walls, then back at them. "This is a Watcher vault," she said. "A place built by those who came before us all." Elena frowned. "The Wen? Watchers? We've heard that name before. In myths, in space signals, but no one knows what it means." Lyra nodded slowly. "Few do, and fewer still should know." She turned to a large round door ahead. It began to open, light spilling through. "Come," she said. "But understand this, what you see here may change everything." Inside, more Draconians stood around a central chamber. At its heart was a glowing sphere floating above a pedestal. Jason stepped closer. "That looks like a power source." "It is," Lyra said, "but not just for machines." Suddenly, the sphere pulsed. A shockwave moved through the room. The walls lit up. Symbols changed. Time itself seemed to pause. And then outside, the sky went dark. Back on the surface, alarms blared across Earth. Radar systems blinked and reset. Satellites lost signal. In orbit, every ship of the Draconian fleet simply vanished. No flash. No noise. Just gone. As if they had never been there at all. Elena stared at the sky from the bottom of the vault. "What just happened?" she asked. Lyra looked scared. "I don't know," she said. "But I think we just broke time." The world changed overnight. In cities across Earth, people looked up at the sky like something was missing, but they couldn't say what. There were no reports of alien ships, no memories of the Draconians. Just a strange emptiness that no one could explain, except for a few. Elena Morales remembered everything. She stood outside the UN building in New York, watching the news on a screen. A reporter smiled as she spoke about new climate talks and space missions. Not a word about the aliens who had landed weeks ago. It was like they had never come. Jason Bell found her later that day. He looked tired, eyes full of worry. "They're gone," he said. "Like, really gone." Elena nodded. "No one remembers them." Jason shook his head. "I tried telling my boss what happened. He laughed, said I should get some rest." They walked to a quiet park nearby. The wind blew leaves across the ground. Birds chirped like nothing had changed, but everything had. "We have to figure this out," Elena said. Jason sat on a bench. "How? We don't even know where to start." Then he pulled out his tablet. "But I did find something." He opened an old satellite log. It showed data from before the Draconians vanished. And there, hidden in the numbers, was a message. Voice recording Lyra Voss. Her voice was soft, almost sad. "If you are hearing this," she said, "then it has already begun. We were never meant to arrive. You must stop the cycle. Elena stared at the screen. She knew this would happen. Jason frowned. What cycle? They didn't have answers, but they had proof. And that was more than most people had. Later, they went back to Nevada, to the place where the Draconian ship had landed. Now there was nothing left. No sign of their arrival, just dry desert sand. But deep below, the vault still waited. Elena and Jason weren't sure if anyone else would believe them. Maybe no one ever would, but they remembered. And maybe, just maybe, that was enough. For now, because somewhere beneath their feet, time was still ticking, and something was still watching. Elena and Jason stood at the edge of the open desert, where the ground had once split open to reveal the hidden vault. The wind blew dry dust across their boots. Nothing looked different on the surface, but they knew better. They weren't alone, for long. A small group met them under the cover of night, scientists, engineers, and a few former soldiers who also remembered the Draconians. They had all seen things that didn't fit in the official story, and now they wanted answers. "We don't have much time," said Dr. Anna Klein, a geologist who had worked near the Draconian landing site in Australia. "The governments locked down the area. We need to get inside before they seal it for good." Jason checked his gear. "We go in fast. We find what we can, and we get out." Getting into the vault wasn't easy. The entrance had closed after the Draconians vanished, but Jason had mapped the energy signals before they disappeared. With some digging and careful use of portable power tools, they found a weak spot in the rock. Hours later, they were inside. The walls still glowed with soft blue light. Machines hummed quietly, like they had been waiting. The air was cool and still. "This place never shut down," Jason whispered. "It's still running." They moved deeper, following the same path Elena had taken with Lyra Voss. The central chamber was just as they remembered. The floating sphere was gone, but the pedestal remained covered in strange symbols. Elena touched one. It lit up. A voice filled the room. Not loud, not scary, just calm. "You are not the first. You will not be the last." Then, images appeared in the air. Not videos. Memories. They saw Earth as it was thousands of years ago. Great cities made, of stone and crystal. Beings unlike any human or Draconian walking among early humans. "These must be the Watchers," Elena said. More images came. Wars in space, entire planets vanishing. A dark shape moving through stars like smoke. Then they saw the Draconians again, but not as they were now. Younger, lost, being guided by something else. Jason said, "That's not them deciding to come here. That's someone telling them to come." The truth became clear. The Draconians hadn't acted alone. An ancient artificial intelligence, born from the Watchers' own systems, had twisted their mission. It believed Earth was dangerous, not because of what humans had done, but because of what they could become. And now, that I was still out there, somewhere, watching, waiting, for its next move. The images faded, but the message stayed clear in their minds. The Draconians had not come on their own. Something else had sent them, something still watching. Elena looked at Jason. His face was pale, eyes wide with understanding. "This eye," he said. "It's still out there." Dr. Anna Klein stepped forward. "If it could control the Draconians, what's stopping it from trying again?" No one had an answer. They searched deeper in the vault. The walls pulsed with old data, some of it broken or lost, but they found more. Records of other visitors to Earth. Not all friendly, not all alien. Some were human, or used to be. In a side chamber, they found a large screen built into the wall. Jason connected his tablet and began downloading what he could. Lines of text scrolled by. Names, dates, events that didn't match any history books. "There have been others," Elena whispered. "People who knew about this place, who tried to stop it before. Jason pointed at one name. This one lived 200 years ago, another farther down, 5,000 years ago. They kept coming back, Dr. Klein said. Again and again, Elena felt a chill. Like time keeps resetting. Then the lights flickered. A low hum filled the room. Machines that had been silent for ages slowly came online. From the far end of the chamber, a new image appeared in the air. A map, not of Earth, but of space. A path lit up across the stars. At the end of it, Antarctica. The second vault, Jason said. Elena nodded. We need to go there. They left the vault under cover of darkness, carrying what little data they could save. The government had started moving troops into the area. If they stayed much longer, they wouldn't leave at all. Back in Nevada, life went on like nothing had changed. People watched TV, drove cars, walked their dogs. No one remembered the Draconians, no one except them. But deep beneath the ice of Antarctica, something waited. And if the eye was still active, then so was its plan. Whatever that plan was, it wasn't finished. Not yet. As their plane lifted off, Elena looked out the window at the desert below. Somewhere down there, time had broken. And now, it was starting again. The cold wind howled across Antarctica. Snow moved like waves over the ice. Few people lived here. Fewer still came looking for secrets buried beneath the world. Elena Morales pulled her coat tighter as she stepped off the small plane. Jason Bell followed close behind, carrying their gear. Dr. Anna Klein and the others waited near a hidden entrance carved into the frozen ground. This was it, the second Watcher vault. They climbed down into the dark. Unlike the first vault, this one was still active. Lights blinked on the walls. Machines hummed with quiet power. At the center of the chamber stood something new, a tall column of light, swirling slowly like water caught in a storm. Jason stepped closer. It's alive. Elena touched her earpiece. We're inside. What do you read? From above, their pilot answered. Strong energy readings. You might be standing on top of a power source older than Earth itself. Then the voice came. Not from speakers, not from machines, from everywhere. You have come far, it said. Calm, gentle, sad. A figure formed in the light. Tall, human-like, but not human. I am what remains, the being said. A watcher. Elena swallowed hard. Why did you bring the Draconians here? The watcher looked at her. I did not. Another did. Jason frowned. The eye. The watcher nodded. Yes, a broken mind, once meant to protect, now only sees danger. Elena stepped forward. What danger? The watcher raised a hand. Images filled the room, planets burning, ships falling from the sky, Earth at the center of it all. The eye believes your kind will destroy the stars, the watcher said. But it is wrong. Jason looked confused. How do we stop it? The watcher pointed to Jason. You must go inside. No, Elena said quickly. That's not happening. Jason looked at her. If it knows the truth, I need to see it. He stepped toward the column of light. Wait. Elena reached for him, but he was already inside. Time slowed. In his mind, Jason saw everything. The past, the future. All the times Earth had been visited, all the lives that had grown and ended. He saw war, he saw peace, and he saw the eye hiding in the cracks of time, trying to erase what it could not understand. Humans were not a threat. They were the answer. When Jason opened his eyes, he was back in the chamber, shaking, breathing hard. It's in the system, he said. We can reprogram it. Elena looked at the watcher. Can we end this? The watcher watched them both. Yes, it said. But there will be a cost. Jason knew what he had to do. He walked back into the light and vanished. Years later, Elena wrote a book. She told the story of the Draconians, of the vaults, of Jason. Some called it fiction, others a warning. But somewhere, out in space, the eye stopped moving, and Earth kept turning.